Here's the thing. In the past 3 years, I talked to thousands of artists. And in a 30-minute conversation, I could distinguish which artist is going to have success with ease and which artist is going to struggle to hit their goals. As it really comes down to 5 key traits that distinguish a successful artist from a non-successful artist. By the way, the amount of money you earn as an artist don't make you successful. What makes you successful is the mindset you have, because you could be successful before you achieve your goals as long as you understand that you're on the right path to achieve those goals. If you're new here, my name is Gerard Henry. I'm the founder of Artist Rise, and in the past 3 years, I helped hundreds of artists make consistent sales online, and the goal here is just to provide as much value as I possibly can. So with that being said, you probably want to grab a pen, paper, maybe some popcorn, and let's get this show on the road. So I'm not gonna waste time. I want to get straight into this video, and I'm gonna start with number 1. The main thing, probably the most important thing that allow artists to become successful, and not just successful but successful quickly, is the way they think. Every goal they set is a big goal, and every goal they set is followed by a big action. So they think big and they take big action. What do I mean by this? Typically, I would get on a 30-minute call with a new artist before bringing them on board to see if they're a good fit. And one of my main questions I ask is I say, hey, in the next 12 months, how much you want to be earning per month? And the artist that says, Gerard, I want to earn $10,000 per month. I know I'm going to get there. That's with or without you. That's my goal. And I say, why? They say, well, I don't see it no other way. This is the lifestyle I want. These are the things I want to achieve. And for me to achieve those things, I need to be doing no less, at the bare minimum, $10,000 per month. My goal really 20, but I'm just telling you 10 because I feel like it's a bit easier for you to digest. And those artists typically always hit their goal, and they hit their goals pretty quickly. And here's the thing, it's because they set these goals and they see them as reality. And in order for you to achieve anything in life, you have to see it as a reality. But the second point is understanding that the action must follow. You see, these artists are so obsessed with their goals, they see it as like the only thing on earth besides the love they have for their family and friends. What I mean by this is they instantly attended Q&A calls with me. They're asking hundreds of questions over the course of a month. Like, they get on a call and ask 15 questions on one call. They're trying to find all the answers, and they want to know the answer in detail so they can make sure they apply things correctly. So first thing first, you have to set really big goals if you really want to be successful. That's trait number 1. Have a big goal, and you have to see that goal as reality and then follow that with the necessary actions to achieve that goal. I'm gonna tell you this. If you want to become a full-time artist, you cannot have a goal no less than $5,000 per month. If you set a goal less than $5,000 per month, you only set that goal because you truly believe it's not possible to earn more. Because if you truly believe it was possible to earn more, you'll want to earn more, because in the world we live in today, things are becoming more and more expensive. So number 1, before I move on, don't set a high goal just because it sounds nice. Set that goal that you think is really achievable and that you want to achieve. So in order for you to do that, think about the lifestyle you want to have in place first, and then think about the amount of income you need to achieve that lifestyle. Don't think about how you're going to get there. Just think about what you want, how much you need to earn to achieve what you want. Number 2, the artists I work with that hit their goals really quickly always see the glass as half full. They never usually have something negative to say. It's always positive 99% of the time. You see, they cannot make a sale today, and their response to that may be, no worries, I'll make the next sale. Or the next conversation I have would be a phenomenal conversation. They may not understand something I may talk about, and then they may say, Gerard, I misunderstood this. I'm assuming you try to say this. Is that the case? How can I better this? Right? Versus the non-successful artists will say, hey, this don't work for me. They never think something is not working. They just always try to think of the glass as half full. They always say, maybe I'm applying it incorrectly. Maybe they're just not the right buyer. Maybe this person is just going through something personally. But they always see the glass as half full. You see, a positive mindset will always lead to positive results. Positive mindset attracts a positive lifestyle. It attracts good stuff. When you think to yourself, oh wow, if the person don't purchase, no big deal. If they purchase, that's fantastic. As long as I have an amazing conversation at the end of the day, you will always be successful. When you paint an artwork and you complete that piece, if it's not exactly how you wanted it, you may think, oh my God, this is a mess. Or you could think positively about it and say, you know what, the next paint is going to be 10 times as better. This paint is still a phenomenal painting. Let me just add a couple extra touches to it. But basically what I'm trying to say here is you always want to think of the glass as half full. And here's the thing, people may not know they're being negative when they're being negative. A negative saying could be anything that's demeaning, such as, this isn't working for me. I don't think this is the correct process for me. Maybe I shouldn't be an artist. Maybe I'm not gonna hit my goals. Maybe that person just got lucky. It may sound like you're not being negative, but those are demeaning statements, whether it's to yourself or to someone else. And you wanna remove that. You always wanna think from a positive perspective. That's key. Third, I kind of mentioned this with step 1, but you have to become really hungry for education. Like, you got to become addicted to education. You got to be like a drug. Like, you got to want to learn. Like, I'm explaining, one of my artists currently named Louise McNutt been working with me for about 3 years, and still to this day, this artist asks me tons of questions, and she's had $20,000 months working with me. She sold artworks upwards of $7,000 and $8,000 per single piece, but she still feel like there's just so much for her to learn. You see, people think once they finish school, they're out of the learning curve. That is not the case. If you're here because you want to learn. But you have to really seek the information. You have to dig deep. You have to make sure you get the necessary answers to achieve the things you want to achieve. And then when you start to really dig deep, I mean really dig deep, and you really start to ask yourself, why is this the case? How does this work in detail? Then you're gonna start finding the answers to the questions that you're looking. Then you're gonna start answering the questions that you've been seeking. I'm talking about the hard questions, like how to find a buyer, what to say to get them to purchase, how much you should be charging for your artwork, what to do if they choose not to purchase. And then you're gonna find yourself taking your artwork to the next step. But education is absolutely crucial. And if you've been watching me for a while, you'll notice I always say education is irrelevant if you don't follow it with the necessary actions. But we're gonna save that for a different video. So, saying it again. 3, become obsessed with education. Try to be the smartest person when it comes to selling your artwork online. And as long as you do that, you will become really successful at the marketing and sales side, because that's equally as important to the creative side if you want to be a successful artist. 4, you have to become crazy. Yes, crazy. What do I mean when I say crazy? So going back to step 1 again, I told you my most successful artists would say, Gerard, I want 10,000. That's the absolute minimum. I'm gonna achieve it, whether that's with you or not. But in their head, they see this as reality. You have to be able to be crazy to the point where you could paint your own reality in your head, and you have to see that as that's how things are. And you have to see that reality as current. So what I mean by this is, if you see yourself making $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 per month, you have to act and live as if you're making $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 per month as an artist. I'm not saying go buy expensive stuff, but I'm saying take the necessary actions. What it look like, what time are you waking up, what type of actions you take. And you have to see that as bulletproof. What I mean by this is, you have to see that there's no way around this. No one could tell you it's not possible for you to achieve these goals. No one could talk you out of it. You're so crazy in your own head, is where is that you're living in your own like fantasy world until that fantasy becomes a reality. I'm gonna give you an example. Back when I was sleeping on the floor, I was also driving my mom's car whenever I get a chance to get around. Anytime I would get in her car, I would automatically imagine I'm in this very beautiful Porsche. I mean, I had the Porsche to the color. I had the Porsche to exactly how the seats were, how fast I was going. I knew exactly which bridge I was on. And I was knowing exactly where I was coming from and where I was going. I would be leaving to work in my mom's car, but in my head, the minute I get behind that wheel, I assumed that I was leaving the dealership in a brand new Porsche of my dream, driving back home to show it to my mom. I used to literally have my hands on a steering wheel, and no one could tell me I wasn't in that Porsche. It was automatic, and I used to act like I was shifting gears, and there was no gears for me to shift. I was a bit crazy, but that's because I was crazy obsessed with the things I want to achieve, and I see myself as already achieving them. One thing I used to always say was, I already achieved my goals. I'm just waiting on a time for me to receive the rewards, and then you're gonna achieve your goals. And once you start to think like this, you're gonna find yourself achieving goals quicker. But even if it took longer for you to achieve the goals, you're so obsessed that you fall in love with the process. Every single day become a beautiful day along that journey to get to where you wanna go. 5, and this one is gonna be tough. But what I notice is that my artists that make 10,000 plus per month, yes, I know it's a tough one. They're all extroverted. And I talk to a lot of artists and they say, Gerard, I'm introverted. I'm not extroverted. Or someone will say I'm extroverted. But here's the thing. A study shows that as long as you practice something consistently, you can become that. For example, you may say, Gerard, I'm not a morning person. I'm a night person. But if you practice waking up early every morning for 45 days straight, you will find yourself becoming a morning person. You're gonna find yourself start to enjoy the mornings. You're gonna find yourself waking up early in the morning without anyone telling you or without setting an alarm. I'm saying this to say it's the same thing with becoming extroverted. If you start just approaching that one conversation, then a second, and then a third, you're gonna find yourself becoming more and more extroverted. So this is a skill, it's not a trait. So when you understand that becoming extroverted is a skill and it's not a personality trait, you're gonna find yourself doing what's necessary to succeed. You see, if you really want to be successful, you have to be extroverted, because when it comes to being an artist and being a successful artist, there's the side of creating art, but it's just the fun, all of it. But then you also have to sell your artwork. And in order to sell your artwork, you have to get in conversations with individuals, most likely strangers. So with that being said, you have to be extroverted to get into those conversations. And the better you become at being extroverted, the more successful you will be. I did an interview with one of my artists named Shaz Taylor, and it went crazy. I got a lot of emails about everyone just loving her. Why? Because she's extroverted, she's very outgoing, she's very outspoken, and people love that and they gravitate towards that. She ended up having a $25,000 freaking month because of how she communicates with others and how extroverted she are and how extroverted she can be. With that being said, let's recap. First thing first, you have to think big. Small gets small. But when you think big, big gets big. And you have to think really big. What do you really want? Like, if this world had no limitations, if you could have whatever you want without question, then what would you want? And why would you want to earn that much? 2, always look at the glass as half full. A negative mindset will give you a negative reality. If you see everything as positive and you want a positive reality, think about the bright side of every situation. Think about the good instead of a bad, no matter what's the outcome. And as long as you do that, you're gonna find yourself becoming more happier, one, and achieving your goals much quicker. Third, you have to be hungry for education. You here right now watching these videos, but after you watch one video, watch the next, and then watch the next, and then watch the next, and then apply. You see, because once you start to really dive deep into these videos and apply these videos, and then go back, see what you probably have done wrong, and then come back to the video to make sure you apply it correctly, you're gonna find yourself becoming smarter, not at creating art, but at selling it. And it's no secret, but in order to become a really successful artist, it's just becoming good at sales, selling what you love, which is your artwork, which is your product. 4, you have to be crazy. You have to put in your head that you already achieved your goals, and you have to walk and act and talk and truly believe in your heart that there will be a day where you will hit those goals. You have to see it as the reality. You have to see it as this is already your life and you're just waiting on it to be delivered to you. And then 5, work on becoming extroverted. How to become extroverted? Start with a conversation. Have one conversation with one person and let that conversation lead to another person. And then before you know it, you're going to find yourself becoming more and more comfortable with communicating with people. I actually created a video earlier this week, and in that video I talked about how to get an accountability partner, and more importantly I talked about how to set your 2023 up for success. Once you have these 5 traits in place, you can watch this video here that's going to be teach you how to really crush it for 2023 and get an accountability partner to hold you accountable. And at that point, that'll be the first step to becoming a bit more extroverted. I'll see you on that video.